In today's What If episode, I'm looking at more Tamers themed episodes with what if Bandai introduced Devas as support packages for their Sovereign? Each Sovereign has 3 Deva subordinates according to the Digimon wiki, while in the anime it felt like all the Devas were ruled by Zhuqiaomon. I'm going to break it down so that 3 Devas go to each Sovereign and also color align to them in some way. And if you enjoy these types of videos, do consider liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and hitting that notification bell for more of my future content. I'll go in chronological order of color, starting with Zhuqiaomon to Azulongmon, then Ebonwumon, and finally, Baihumon. While I thought it'd be fun to make brand new versions of these cards, why make new cards when you can bring new support first? Starting with Zhuqiaomon, in order to coordinate the Devas with their Sovereign, every Deva will be dual colored. This increases the effectiveness of putting them in decks, specifically around the Sovereign, while also incorporating potentially a second color. Because Zhuqiaomon works best with Digimon on the battlefield, let's see what kind of madness I have in store. Digivolution cost-wise, they would be relatively the same, unless of course you Digivolve from green. And while typically you see Digimon with Digivolution cost be the same, I want to give green an advantage. For Sandiramon, this Digimon would be a red-purple Digimon with the effect of start of your turn, if your opponent does not have a level 3 Digimon, gain 2 memory. Sandiramon's effect takes elements from Sora Takenouchi and Mimi Tachikawa from BT6, forcing your opponent to play level 3s to not let you gain any extra memory. But because your opponent would also be increasing their body count on the battlefield, this just adds extra value for Zhuqiaomon. As for inheritables, Retaliation, a standard purple inheritable effect. For Indramon, this Digimon would also be a red-purple Digimon with the effect of when Digivolving, your opponent may play 1 level 3 Digimon from their hand onto the battlefield. Again, you're promoting your opponent to place more bodies on the board to give you better value for Zhuqiaomon. Additionally, on your turn, all Digimon with Deva in their types gain security attack +1. And finally, the inheritable of when attacking, if this Digimon is Zhuqiaomon, once per turn, unsuspend it. Every Sovereign will now have a Deva that has a built-in unsuspend effect, which leaves Pangiramon, a green-red Digimon that has an opponent's turn, gains you 1 memory when your opponent's Digimon is suspended. This effect is a mild throwback to Venom Myotismon from BT2. But because Pangiramon is aligned with the nature spirits, I wanted to provide some variety as well with colors. Each Sovereign will have 2 Devas that share the same color type, and then 1 that has a completely different color combination. This also includes a Digimon that will have an inheritable that lets you unsuspend it if the Digimon matches that specific Sovereign. For Azulongmon, this Digimon will get Baihumon, Antilomon, and Majiramon. While Majiramon does already make an appearance in BT7 as a Digimon that can unsuspend your Digimon if your opponent has no Digimon with no Digivolution sources, it's time to give Azulongmon the next best thing. Inheritable option card Negation. But its main effect will be, when Digivolving, trash the bottom Digivolution of 3 of your opponent's Digimon. Then, for each Digimon without Digivolution sources, this Digimon gets plus 1000 DP. Because Blue has amazing memory control, you could potentially Digivolve into this and still keep it on your turn with cards like Hammerspark, and then Digivolve into Azulongmon for DP buffs and option card Negation. While this card could have been specifically for Azulongmon, this card can also be used in combination with Zhuqiaomon. Moving to the blue-yellow Devas, I offer the concepts of Baihumon and Antilomon. Baihumon provides you that unsuspend if this Digimon is Azulongmon inheritable, but its when Digivolving effect will allow you to recover 1 for each Digimon without Digivolution sources. You hated Jet Sophimon? At least this guy's 4 cost. Meanwhile, Antilomon will have a slightly lower stat and cheaper Digivolution cost. When Digivolving, you can look at the top X cards of your security, where X is the number of Digimon with no Digivolution sources. Reveal a blue or yellow Digimon and add it to your hand. If you do, recovery +1. The Devas for Azulongmon will revolve around source stripping, security recovery, and with Majiramon's option card Negation. And while this Sovereign was the most played, the majority of Sovereigns aren't played at all. With Ebonwumon, this Digimon saw absolutely no play. This card was unfortunately printed during the hybrid meta, which its main effect really only affected Digimon, not Tamers. But don't worry, I'm adding a few cards to potentially fix that in the form of Zhuqiaomon, Vajramon, and Kamhiramon. Kamhiramon plays in the yellow-green category due to its status as a holy beast. While arguably that all the Digimon are holy beasts, this Digimon has no secondary family classification like the others with Nightmare Soldiers. This Digimon is a searcher that on play, lets you search for a 4 Sovereign and Deva to your hand. Its inheritable allows you to suspend a Digimon by trashing a security whenever your opponent draws or adds a card to their hand. Meaning at the beginning of your opponent's turn when they unsuspend their Digimon and then draw, you immediately get to suspend a Digimon on their side for the turn. As for Zhuqiaomon, this purple-green Digimon has Retaliation and an on-deletion effect on par with Millenniummon, but its stat line is absurdly weak. Additionally, it has an inheritable that works well in conjunction with Ebonwumon. When your opponent trashes a card from their hand or deck, gain 1 memory. Because they'll need to trash cards to unsuspend their Digimon, this means really hybrid decks are the best counterpick against this Digimon. Finally, Vajramon, an upgraded version of the previous sets that can suspend up to 2 of your opponent's level 5 or lower Digimon. If no Digimon was suspended, this Digimon gains Retaliation until the end of the turn. As always, this Digimon gives the inheritable of unsuspending its Sovereign as the inheritable, making for potentially 2 swings. Which takes us to the last Sovereign Digimon set to be released in BT9, Baihumon. Baihumon allows you to unsuspend up to 2 Digimon or Tamers, and then for each unsuspended Digimon and Tamer, gain a memory. At the end of your turn, for every 2 unsuspended Digimon and or Tamers, trash the top card of their security. Because BT9 hasn't been released yet, I have no opinion of whether this card will be played or not. Though personally I would say it won't be played. But for this Sovereign Digimon, every Deva will have a security effect which is mostly typical of Black Digimon. For Senduramon, security, play this Digimon without paying its memory cost. On play, recovery +1 for each unsuspended Tamer or Digimon. This Digimon can make recovery very nasty in some instances, especially if it's just hit right in the security. And arguably, this Deva is the most broken. And of course, the inheritable restand again. For Katuramon, this Digimon acts as a flower cannon and reduces the Digivolution cost by 2 going into a Sovereign, making the crossover to Ebonwumon or Baihumon very valuable. Its inheritable leaves a little to be desired, but the purpose is your opponent will try and keep their Digimon suspended to not have unsuspended Digimon for Baihumon's effect. And last but not least, Makuramon. Initially, I had the concept of making Makuramon a flip tamer that converts to a level 5 Digimon, but ultimately I scrapped the idea for something more simple. Instead, security, play this Digimon without battling and paying its memory cost. On play, this Digimon suspends one of your opponent's Digimon, then if you have a 4 Sovereign on the battlefield, that Digimon does not unsuspend. In essence, it's a Mega Gargomon. But this Digimon gives you the inheritable of Blocker. In general, I had a lot of fun creating each of these Devas and matched them to their respective Sovereigns. What are your thoughts on the card effects, and which ones do you feel are the most broken? Let me know in the comments below. This is Digi-Panda, logging out.